Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today we're going to talk about survival mode. You see, like being in an abusive relationship, you might find yourself like doing unimaginable things so as to protect yourself from the psychological tortures you are being subjected to in the relationship. This can be something like doing as they wish so as to avoid any argument or to lower the potential of abuse. It's quite understandable actually at that moment in time because all you can do is survive each day in all possible ways. These are just like a few survival strategies you are well aware of and you are logically able to do. The other thing which happens is when we are facing a dangerous situation in our lives, our brains enters survival mode to deal with the danger it's facing in the present moment. So what is this survival mode exactly? We have to understand that during a traumatic or a stressful situation, our brain enters survival mode to tackle the threat in that present moment. And the responses can either be freeze, fawn, flight, or fight. Let's explain this by briefly looking at how the brain functions. So, our prefrontal cortex or the thinking brain is the part of the brain which contributes to a wide variety of executive functions like emotional regulation, managing emotional reactions or impulse control, predicting and anticipating consequences of one's actions and behaviors, critical thinking, organization, decision making, and problem solving. It's more of that part of the brain which mostly deals with logic and not being controlled by emotions. So, the thinking brain receives information about a situation or a perceived situation, and it uses those executive functions which we've mentioned, like critical thinking, problem solving, to come up with the best kind of response and action to deal with that situation or that perceived situation. So, all these now changes when you experience a traumatic or a stressful situation. The thinking brain now turns foggy and the survival brain kicks in. So it means that you will lose the ability to logically look at the threat or at the perceived threat. And the thing about the survival brain is it will always react impulsively so as to protect you because it sees that the thinking brain, which is the part of the brain of critical thinking and problem solving, is not taking an immediate action to keep you away from danger. So the survival brain kicks in so as to protect you from danger or so as to get you out of danger. So it means that when you are exposed to a constant stressful situation like being in a toxic relationship, the survival brain becomes the default and you now enter survival mode. And when this survival mode is prolonged, the logical brain dims further and you become unable to like adjust appropriately to a current situation. Like you find it hard to adjust to a current situation because the logical part of the brain has dimmed and the survival part of the brain is the one which is the default. That's why even after you leave that abusive relationship, the survival brain still perceives that you are still in danger and still puts you on survival mode in anticipation of a future threat. Because for the brain, it doesn't even differentiate between an actual threat or a perceived threat. It just reacts because of that past traumatic situation. You still carry that memory of the past traumatic situation. Hope that makes sense, but don't worry so much about this. The main aim is just to understand if you are in survival mode or not, and what you can do about it. And I'm going to explain. And it can be difficult to determine if you are in survival mode or you are just facing the normal daily stressors. But I'm going to share with you some of the signs that you are in survival mode even long after you've left that traumatic relationship. The thing about survival mode is it prevents you from thriving in your life because you are always on the lookout for threats and you feel like you've lost control of your life. Because when the survival brain kicks in, you feel so, because you cannot think logically, critically, you cannot solve problems, so it feels like you can't control your life. The first sign is emotional numbness. I made a video about this in the past, so you can check it in the description. This is where like you don't feel joy or you don't even find things pleasurable anymore. You just do something because you have to and not for the joy of it. You may even have difficulty experiencing intimacy or even having authentic laughter, as everything feels forced. You've just lost interest in the pleasures of life, hobbies, and you're just cruising through the day without even looking forward to it. Your life has just lost its excitement. The brain is just protecting you from experiencing those painful emotions again through numbness. So it sees that if we numb these emotions, we will not feel any pain. But the flip side is you cannot just numb the negative emotions, you also numb the positive emotions. So you find it really hard to experience happiness and joy. The second sign that you are just in survival mode is you find most situations in life triggering and you can't even handle them. You may react or overreact or become upset about things which shouldn't even bother you. For example, the weather might turn gloomy and you're just upset about it, even though it's not within your control. You may get grumpy or emotionally overwhelmed when things don't go your way, or even for no reason at all. You just react in a way you're not supposed to in most situations in your life, in most situations you used to handle before. You are also like on high alert most of the times as you watch out for triggers or for threats to your safety. You just feel that you are in danger all the time. The third one is exhibiting impulsive behaviors. This is where like everything in your life is done impulsively without much thought or without analyzing the consequences. This can be something like binge eating, binge watching, shopping crazily, overspending, or mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You're just doing things on autopilot without analyzing the impact they have on your life because your logical part of the brain has been dimmed. The fourth one is ignoring your basic needs. You just struggle with catering for your basic needs like basic self-care needs like working out, healthy eating, grooming. You don't care about yourself or anything at all. You have no like me time as you feel that you don't deserve it. You even forget about them because you feel that they don't matter. So you might even forget brushing your teeth because you feel that it doesn't matter. The fifth one is fatigue. You just feel exhausted most times. You wake up feeling exhausted, you sleep feeling exhausted, and you are even exhausted without doing any form of physical activity. You're just tired mentally, physically, and emotionally. You just feel like your tires can burst at any moment. The last one is lack of focus. You cannot concentrate on a certain task for a long period of time. Your thoughts are just foggy or your thoughts are all over the place. You will start something, but you'll have to distract yourself because you can't really focus on it. You will even choose to procrastinate because you cannot focus clearly. It's like your mind is not there, it's far away. So, when you live in survival mode for a long period of time, it can lead to damaging effects to your general well-being. You may, of course, develop unhealthy coping mechanisms like binge eating, alcoholism, or binge watching, which of course will be harmful to your body. And also, like your mental health will also deteriorate because you are always under stress. Everything is always deadline, urgent, or doesn't matter. And something about survival mode is it makes your present life feel like you are in immediate danger even long after you've left that traumatic situation. And so the first thing you can do is to all just like acknowledge that you're in survival mode and you want to get out of that survival mode and now thrive in life. So you pay attention to it, you pay attention to your survival mode and realize the long-term effects it can have in your life. The long-term effects of binge eating, the long-term effects of alcoholism, the long-term effects of being under stress. And once you acknowledge it, like you are in survival mode, just you'll be able to take the steps that will help you regain control of your life. You see, like when you are in survival mode, your past is running your life and not your authentic present self. So when you work on resolving those past hurts, the brain will understand that actually you're not in danger and you don't have to live in survival mode anymore. You will be able to respond to a present situation from your current perspective and not reacting from the lens of your past painful experiences. So that's why once you heal your trauma, you will not be triggered. You will not see something as triggering or something which is a threat. You'll just see something for what it is presently. So the brain will not need to go to survival mode. It will know that actually this thing is okay. So hope that was informative, and always put in the work to get out of survival mode so that you can thrive, or so that you can live. Until next time, see ya.